So, what is if you can tell me the difference between burnout and depression, what are some of the symptoms, the differing clinical symptoms and presentations that someone might experience?
Sure. So this is a bit of a debate in the clinical world, and I'm just going to tell you, in the decades that I've been doing this, the differences I see and the similarities. So, burnout and depression can come together, but they don't necessarily have to. Someone can feel like depression is an energy of hopelessness, helplessness, like just feeling like I think of it as like quicksand energy. It's kind of someone's had a loss or multiple losses, and it's just like almost like a surrendering almost experience. Sometimes there's physical causes as well. And so you want to separate out, sometimes there's physical causes, sometimes there's emotional causes there. When you talk about burnout, right? Burnout, and that can happen suddenly, by the way. Depression can happen suddenly. There can be like a loss of a child, of a relationship, of a job, like something can happen pretty quickly. Burnout is something that happens over time. And it's oftentimes, the metaphors people will use is like a matchstick, burning out. And so it usually has like a more tense energy. There's like a fight going on. Like, I want to change the healthcare system. I want to change the education system. I want to change another human. We've got this energy of what we want to do and accomplish. And we've been working at it. It almost feels like pushing a boulder uphill. And then in the later phases of burnout, burnout can, in that exhaustion phase, go through depression where it's like, oh, like nothing's going to work, like everything I'm trying. So, what I want people to know is they can overlap, but they do not necessarily show up together. And if someone wants more information, because trauma and how trauma plays a role in all of this is really important, because trauma can be something can be traumatic in your life. There can be an event or something that happened to you. But trauma also comes from just you being a child and your needs not getting met. Maybe you weren't seen, maybe you weren't heard, maybe you didn't feel important. And that also can cause experiences that when they're triggered later in a relationship, something familiar happens, can also lead you into depression. Sometimes in the middle of you burning out, it can be the thing that tips you down the path. So, what I'd say is if you want to learn more about trauma, I would refer people to the Wisdom of Trauma movie or by Gabor Mate or any of Gabor Mate's work. That's who teaches me about trauma. But these are kind of you have to really, what I'm trying to tell you is you have to really put it in context. And you have to, in order to understand this, just like your physical health, just like the physical signals inside you, please put things in context and understand in what order you want to explore them. So make sure you have a clean bill of physical health. Then you start paying attention to your physical signals. Then, if you want to understand if emotions are playing a role here, you want to just understand if it's burnout or depression, ask yourself, like, has it been this tense fighting energy for something, change something? Has it been more quicksand? Was it more sudden? Was it more, that kind of an energy? So I think these are some of the ways that as I'm listening to someone, start to ask questions and piece things together.